Leafs Nation, we are live across all of the networks TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Sitting down with the man, the myth, the legend that is my co host, Pete the Heat.
Oh,
What's going on,
shucks.
brother?
How are you doing, James? It's just, I don't even know what day of the week it is right now. It's been such a long week. I'm not even dialed into hockey right now. Leaf hockey, that is, but I'm doing good. I'm just waiting for the playoffs at this point. But how are you doing, James?
I think I'm doing all right tonight. Been a rocky patch there for a moment, but that's okay. Things happen. You rebound, you bounce back. But, ladies and gentlemen, it is kind of a new week here. We should have been doing this show on Monday, but that's all right. We're here now on a Wednesday evening. The Maple Leafs have already played a game this week, and we are proudly brought to you by our friends over at Boxing Rock Brewing Co. Check out their Puck Off Lagerdale. It's the big beer for the big game. And the Maple Leafs had themselves a big game last night, so let's get into it. The Leafs play the Columbus Blue Jackets. They play a goaltender that usually would goalie the ever-living hell out of the Toronto Maple Leafs.
I mean, didn't he?
And no, I don't think he did. The Leafs won 4-2. He played pretty well, but the Leafs were actually able to beat him, actually able to win the game, pick up the 2 important points, keep the separation from Tampa Bay. And you know what? They actually showed that they can lock down a close game and win. Not too upset about that, to be honest with you, especially with the playoffs on the horizon. To Pete, you say what?
I say the Leafs should that game was way too close. You got this rookie goaltender. I think he's like 22 years old. I think his save percentage is like under 900. It's like 890 or something. Leafs should have pumped him. It was nice to see, though. We got some secondary scoring from Kerfoot and Zach Aston Reese last night. So 2 from that guy. But it's a W at the end of the day, so I can't really complain.
All right, well, we'll get into the other games this week, too. Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night, no secret, play the Boston Bruins, and we'll talk about who's coming back. And then the Habs on Saturday night, who almost threw up there, just mentioning their names. The Boston Bruin game is going to be a litmus test for the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night, I do believe. Both teams will probably dress a full lineup. I do know that Ryan O'Reilly will make his return for the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow night. Beautiful. Says he's feeling 100%. Got a lot of stick work off the gloves today. Said he didn't feel any of it. Pretty funny to hear that from a guy in practice. But I will say this. The Maple Leafs going against the Boston Bruins, you need to make sure you put your best foot forward. And I want to see who plays the best for the Maple Leafs. It doesn't matter who's in the lineup for the Bruins. You want those 2 points. You want those 2 points to keep you above Tampa for a 6.8-point spread if they lose tonight. So, what do we think for tomorrow night's game against the Boston Bruins?
I mean, we want it. We gotta come out. We gotta come out strong. We gotta take 2 points away from them. We gotta shut this Boston team down right before the playoffs. We gotta show them it's the Leafs in 4, baby. But I don't know. I'm scoreboard watching right now. Tampa's down 4-3. We need as many points as we can get. Let's get that home ice advantage. And let's crush the Boston Bruins tomorrow.
Definitely. Well, we will crush the Boston Bruins tomorrow. I'm looking for a beautiful 4-1 victory for the Maple Leafs tomorrow night. The Habs on Saturday. Here's the thing. This team is young. They know how to fly down the wing. Josh Anderson won't be playing, obviously. So some of those guys that we're used to kind of beating up on the Leafs, so to speak, are not going to be in the lineup. Cole Caulfield, hello, come on down. But they have a lot of young guys like Harvey Bernard, all those guys that, want to make a name for themselves for next year. That's the problem with some of these teams, Pete, is they're going to come in with some noise and want to do some things against a team as good as the Maple Leafs. Yeah. So, to me, I say make sure you're smart about Saturday night and tomorrow night for that matter, because there's going to be a lot of guys looking to make an impression on both squads. Don't do anything stupid. Don't get hurt. Don't play anything, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say?
If I was Keith, I would have taken Matthews out. We can't risk him shooting at O'Reilly again. We cannot risk that. Matthews is trying to snipe. He's trying to snipe his fingers. We cannot have that tomorrow night. So sit him.
Ridiculous. Yeah. All right, I'm looking at these 2 games for the Leafs. I'm saying they go 1-0-1.
1-0-1. Who's the OTL against?
I'm going to say the Habs.
The Habs. I'm gonna say I say they beat the Habs and they lose tomorrow in regulation against the Bruins 1-1.
All right. Well, let's see how it goes. I go 1-1, 1-0-1. You got it the other way. Let's get it done. So, something that is beneficial for a very long time, but I guess finally got rubber stamped the other day, is the Leafs will play the Tampa Bay Lightning in round 1. And don't look now, but Andrei Vasilevsky last week really put on a performance for everyone. Now, I do know that right now he's not killing it, but hey, Andrei Vasilevsky looks like he's back, baby, and that may be a problem for the Toronto Maple Leafs. To what you say, Pete?
I say fuck the boogeyman. It's Leafs in 4. I mean, he's always been that guy to perform in the playoffs. I think this is the year where the Tampa Bay Lightning are done. They're the Tampa Bay Buccaneers of this year. They're done. They're gonna I heard Jesse say it on the Steve Dangle podcast, but they're done this year. Tampa Bay's it's Leafs in 4, baby. Just know that. We're finishing them in Tampa Bay, 4th game. You got the Pete the Heat approval on that one.
Oh, the rubber stamp. Pete the Heat approval has been brought to you by Offside Hockey Talk, the place where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk. Pete the Heat put the rubber stamp on Leafs in 4.
Yes,
get it done.
Sir. Yes, sir. I'm about to turn into a walking meme.
Bro, there will be no sweep. You don't know that. How sweep it will be when the Leafs get it done.
Can't wait. I can't wait to bust the broom out.
Some things that is a little bit of a problem here in Leafland. Matt Murray. Unfortunately, all jokes aside about Woll and Samsonov and how happy everyone is that Woll may get a chance to play in the playoffs, Matt Murray, I don't care what anyone says, it sounds like he has a concussion.
He has
but we still want to say it. He was pulled for concussion protocol reasons. He's had a history of them. I'm saying it's not a good sign. I'm also saying that if Matt Murray, for some magical reason, can make his way back to the Maple Leafs for the playoffs, Pete, I don't want him there.
Why not?
I don't want him there. You have a concussion. That can change like it did for Crosby, like that.
Yeah.
For you. One wrong bump, one wrong thing, just like Jake Muzzin. One wrong jolt the wrong way. I know his cervical spine, but for Crosby, it was thought to be concussion. Then it ended up being a serious neck and back injury because it was misdiagnosed for whiplash. So right now for Matt Murray, for his own safety and health, with the amount of concussions he's had, I think the Leafs are going to keep him shut down.
Now, let me ask you something then. Are you comfortable having Joseph Woll as your starter if Samsonov gets hurt?
100%.
100% confident.
100%. More confident than Murray.
I don't know. It's nice. I think it's nice to have Murray just on the bench. Obviously we're going Samsonov as the starter, but Murray's got that playoff pedigree. He's got 2 cups, man. I'm not confident with Joseph Woll, man.
Listen, I'm more confident with Joseph Woll between the pipes than I am Mr. Matt 4-goal-a-game Murray.
Okay, let's agree to disagree because I honestly I'd rather see him than Joseph Woll. He's not even Joseph Woll's not really proven yet. I mean, I'm rooting for him. I don't think he has the experience to start a Leaf game in the playoffs.
Okay, but when does a guy get an opportunity to be that guy? You have to give him the opportunity to prove you wrong or prove you right. In this instance, we want him to prove us right by being inserted into a game to do it.
When's the last time we saw a goalie do that?
Any goaltender who's a starter in the NHL had to start.
You don't see it often, James, but
any goaltender in the NHL had to start somewhere as their first ever playoff game. Matt Murray says hello. Philip Grubauer says hello. Lots of goaltenders have done it What's his name? Darcy Kempfer's done it. Recently, these guys have come in and done it and ran with the ball and helped the team.
But he's played seasons in the NHL. I'm talking about a rookie goaltender just starting in the NHL.
Whoa.
In the playoffs.
Has it happened?
Yes, it has happened, James. But will it happen?
But I mean, here's the thing.
It's leaps in for it. I know that's a miracle. But Joseph Hall going 4 rounds, maybe we'll see.
It's this team's time to finally have one of those stories going into the playoffs. And I'm going to tell you this: not only Joe Wool, we'll park the Joe Wool conversation, but here's a guy that I think is going to be our X factor throughout the playoffs, chipping in key goals. Come on down, feel good story, walk on as a PTO from camp, Mr. Zach Aston Reese. That guy is going to be
right now
for the playoffs. That is going to be our version of Sean Bergenheim, guys that are just bottom line players, our Nick Paul, our whatever you want to call it, who's going to come up with clutch goals when we need them. I think it's going to be Zach Aston Reese.
I hope. I mean, he lit it up last night. 2 goals for the guy. He's been a good surprise. He's having a great end of the season right now. So shout out to Zach Aston Reese. I hope he pulls through in the playoffs, buddy.
Zach Aston Reese, baby. But listen, Samsonov does look ready to thrive in the role. I'd let him run with it for now. Him and Wool are going to take turns back and forth.
Yeah.
We got the Frozen Four this weekend, so we know Matt Nyes is coming. A lot of people bigging up the big body there, who will probably get a couple of games here with the Leafs in the regular season. May get inserted in game 3 or 4 down in MLA, down in Tampa, get tossed in, see what he can do, bring some energy, fire it up. That's what the Leafs are going to need. But I'm going to say this right here. The Leafs in the next couple of games will probably rest a couple of big guns. And it probably will happen against the Habs on Saturday night, where you'll see some of the bigger names sit down, as Montreal is as far as you can possibly be. That's not a poke, it's just the truth. So you probably rest a few guys there. For me, I look and say, okay, the last probably 3, maybe 2 games, you go with a full lineup compilation of who is going to be your absolute drop-dead starters, and then run with that. That's Tampa Bay and the Rangers, I do believe, at least last 2 games this season. Dress your full onslaught and let's go.
I didn't even look at the last few games. We play Tampa Bay, Boston, and you said the Rangers?
So I think it's Montreal, Tampa, Boston.
There's a Florida game in there.
And a Florida game, yeah.
Wow. That is not an easy schedule.
It's not. The last few games are definitely not easy at all, but it really is what it is, to be honest with you.
How many points do we need to clinch that home ice advantage?
Me and Chris were figuring it out today. We're thinking it's 4 points.
4 points, okay. That'd be nice. That would be very nice if Leafs got home ice advantage. I mean, it hasn't helped us in recent playoff years, but we definitely want as many advantages as we can get right now.
You definitely need every advantage you can get, but I look at it like this. The Leafs are getting a lot of things back. Nola Chari back in the lineup, looking good last night, playing physical.
Yeah.
Good to see. Also on the same side of things, Ryan O'Reilly returns. Gustafson's back with the team as well. He's more than likely not going to play at any level here with the Maple Leafs in the playoffs, but he is another bodied, defenseman that you can use. And I also look at the Black Aces you'll probably bring up. Connor Timmins will be there, Jordy Ben, guys that can definitely fit into this lineup and play if they need them. And, if the Leafs get decimated with injuries, for once we have actual NHL defensemen who can come in and step in and do things that the guy they're replacing does, which is nice.
Yeah, absolutely, James.
So let's go and look at this one. Oh, Matthews. He needs 3 goals to be 300 on his career. And when he does that, that'll put him second amongst active players ahead of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And oh, get out the towel right now because Edmonton fans will be a crying that Mr. Matthews yet again has something that Connor McDavid does not, which is a faster to 300 goal record. Also, he has one of those shiny trophies called the Calder. You win when you're a rookie. That McDavid did not win.
I forgot. Yeah, he was injured though. Who won it
Doesn't
that
matter.
year?
Doesn't matter. Didn't get it. Didn't get it. Matthews did. Matthews better.
Yeah, agreed. Who did win it that year, James? If you remember, because I can't even remember off the top of my
I do
head.
not remember, to be honest with you.
Oh man, it's so irrelevant. Yeah, he only played about half a season. I remember he had that nasty injury.
He did. He would have won with a landslide, but unfortunately,
yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But it is what it is. I want to see the Maple Leafs get Austin Matthews to that 300 goal plateau this season. It'd be nice. He's 3 away. So go ahead, pot 2 against the Bruins, pop another one against Tampa or the Rangers next week, and then walk into the playoffs with a little swagger. I like it. I like it.
I like it too. I'm excited for the playoffs. How about you? Let's go.
I'm very excited for the playoffs, man. And
yes.
one thing I'm not excited about, and a lot of people in the chat here are probably going to get upset about this topic, and I've been talking, and we will be talking with, by the way, Monday night. It's going to be a late show, folks. And do remember, next week there'll be no mid-leaf meltdown and possibly no show on Sunday going into the playoffs, as I will be in Niagara, unless the boys want to roll themselves, which they definitely can do. I'm going to say this. Monday night, Dave Jackson, former NHL referee, ESPN rules analyst, will be on Offside Hockey Talk at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 p.m. Mountain, and 12 a.m. East or AST, which is where I am. And we will be breaking down the Michael Bunting, NHL, Maple Leafs, all that stuff that is going on. And I've been talking with him about the Bunting situation. He was on the Leafs Nation Network today talking about the same thing. Bunting, the refs, Keefe, and the league, there's a problem. And you can't just say that Michael Bunting now needs to keep his nose clean, that he needs to be, a choir boy and needs to be quiet, because he tried that and it didn't work. And he took a lot of penalties. And people were saying, well, what is he supposed to do? Well, you get cross-checked 3 times. How about you call the first one? I made a compilation video a little while ago of at least 6 calls in one game that did not go Michael Bunting's way. The first 3, he didn't complain. The last 3, he lost his ever-loving mind. I mean, how much does he have to take? And at the same token, I understand, Dave, what you're saying, that you don't embarrass the referees. And there's a reason he's only at a +3 differential this year between penalties taken and penalties against. Because he is embellishing a lot. I get it. But at the same time, the shit that he embellishes is because the crap that is real does not get called. That is just the blatant truth of it. He gets cross-checked once, no penalty. Gets cross-checked again, so he snaps his neck back a little bit more to make it look a little more dramatic. Both of them go. I'm sorry to say, call the first one, the rest of the crap doesn't happen. To give him a 10-minute misconduct because he's kicking a stick back because it's in his skates and he's trying to skate backwards. Come on, man. Corey Perry does that crap all game long. All game long he does that stuff. Brad Marchand, all these guys do all that stuff. All those greasy little things. Steal guys' gloves and throw them down the ice. Or whatever they do. Just dumb little crap. And they don't get a 10-minute misconduct.
Makes no sense.
It's strictly because Bunting has created a reputation for himself. I get that. I get it. But at the same time, call the game to the letter of the law, and it does not happen with embellishments. But it will continue to happen with embellishments across the league, because Dave Jackson also said, make sure you watch the other games. It happens with other players. Well, if refs do the job right the first time, there is no need for an embellishment on the second or third time.
James, do you think this is going to be a problem in the playoffs? Do you think there's going to be a call a call the refs make or don't make that is going to change the game or the series.
Listen, we all know the whistles go away in the playoffs. We all know that. It's not
I don't know. I
it's
don't
not a
know,
thing of
James. We
it's
saw
not a
some
thing
stuff
of
last year. We saw some stuff.
listen.
I don't know about that Justin Hall call. I've watched it a million times, and the
Well, it's
pick
the
is.
reason why Sheldon Keefe got fined so much money this year, right? Because
Mhm.
that is exactly it happened in game and it did not get called, but it got called in the most pivotal game in game 7 to tie a game 2-2. We all know where that went. I'm just saying the whistles have a tendency to be laxed, we'll say. Let's not go away. They're laxed in the playoffs. But I will say this. Sheldon Keefe is allowing Kyle Dubas and Brendan Shanahan to take care of this situation. So the last time that teams have done this, hello Colorado, hello St. Louis, hello Boston, with each of their agitators at the given time, it has come up and worked out in the favor. But what needs to happen, and what Dave did say originally, is Bunting needs to have that conversation with the referee calmly between periods or before the period starts, or here's a better one, even after the game, and just calm the waters, explain his side. The ref will tell him his side, and away they go. Because what's going to happen now is the Leafs are going to present their evidence and say, this is all the crap that's happened with Bunting. It's unfair. Even last night, number 92, the linesman stepping in to the scrum. Bunting is getting pushed around. He's not saying anything. You can see the camera is in his face. He's not saying anything. He's not grabbing anyone. He's being shoved, and guys are challenging him. The linesman comes in and grabs Bunting. He's not doing anything.
Yeah.
He literally was standing there, stoic faced, because he knows if he says anything or does anything, he's pooched. So he didn't, and the linesman still grabbed Bunting. But, anyways, the Leafs will send their information, all the clips and everything, and then it'll be flipped around. The league will then send back, here's a bunch of calls he embellished. Here's a bunch of things that he did to embarrass referees. Here's a bunch of things that went wrong. And the Leafs will say, well, for us, where it really went wrong was when the linesman forcefully pushed Bunting down the tunnel. That's when all of this really seemed to start to take shape for me. So then the Leafs will say, well, what do we do? The league will say, well, how about we have a sit down with the head of officiating, which I think is Stephen Walkom. You sit down with the Leafs, Bunting, and Walkom. Let everyone talk it out. Figure it out. Walkom will tell Bunting to stop being an embellishment little crybaby. And he'll also say, yes, we'll speak with the referees to make sure that it's fair and even keel. Because what will happen if it's not? We've seen officiating crews pulled off series because it's been done the wrong way. So, don't let that be fooling you that they won't do things and they won't fix things if it is that egregious. And by egregious, I mean not just us talking about it, but national broadcasts talking about it. Because when Connor McDavid didn't get any penalties called for him and it became a national news issue in Canada, you bet your ass last year in the playoffs, Connor McDavid got a bunch of calls. It went from 0 to 60 real quick. So,
really quick. Well,
that's going to be the same thing here. And I'm not saying Connor McDavid and Michael Bunting are the same kind of player. They're not. All I'm saying is if it's not called the right way, and especially with a team with this logo on it, it will become a big freaking thing with all of the eyes on it. So you bet your ass that'll be called.
I'm just waiting for Corey Perry to try to get under his skin this series. Like Corey Perry, Pat Maroon, even Kucherov, they are gonna try to rattle Michael Bunting, and I hope he just keeps his straight face. And let's hope the refs give us a call, give him a call, and that'll change the tide of the game. It'll change the tide of the series. Just Michael, keep it together, please.
Listen, here's another thing that's going to happen too. Okay, we're not used to this in Leafland, so everybody buckle up when I say this. Ryan O'Reilly will calm the waters out there on the ice. Noel Acciari, Zach Aston Reese, Sam Lafferty, Jake McCabe, Luke Shen. All of these guys are not only physical, but they are leaders and intimidating when it comes to leaning on guys on the ice. So we have a bit of a different makeup this year where it's not just going to be Pat Maroon and Corey Perry and Ross Colton and Nick Paul running around and just doing their garbage crap. We have guys who can answer that shit. And not just guys like Clifford or Simmons who come in for a game. So,
do you think they play?
What's that?
Do you think Simmons and Clifford get a game in?
No, I'm not. I'm saying that we don't need those guys. I'm saying that we have guys who can bring that tack, but still play the game. Zach Aston Reese will drop the mitts. Laffy's drop the mitts.
Hell, Gio will drop the
mitts. Acciari will. We got lots of guys in the lineup that if it comes to that, but I'm talking about they will play physical. They will not shy away. They will not back down, which will make every other guy in the lineup stand up 6 feet tall. I'm telling you right now, Pete, this team
is
built different.
Tell me, James.
This team is ready to go. This team is going to shove it back down the throats of the Tampa Bay Lightning the way that they try to shove it back down every other team's throats. And I'm so here for it, 100%.
You got me fired up, James. The Leafs, they're going to kill the Tampa Bay Lightning. They are going to absolutely...
I'm not going to say they're going to kill them. I'm not going to say
that. Pump them, James. They're going to pump them. They want this more than any... They want this more than the Tampa Bay Lightning. I think they want it more than any team in the NHL.
Here's another thing, too, for the Toronto Maple Leafs. We have named Luke Shen. Who did Luke Shen play with and win a Stanley Cup with? Oh, the Tampa Bay Lightning. Oh, does he know some of the shit that they pull? Some of the tacks that they use on the ice? Okay. Does he know some of the guys' weaknesses? Yeah, probably so. Probably so. Oh, was John Cooper also his head coach who went out and said, hey, this is how you defend the Maple Leafs? So I'm just saying there are things in the Leafs' favor. There are guys heating up at the right time. What's up, Matthews and Marner? Tavares and Nylander need to get rolling, but we finally will have a little bottom six scoring as well. What's up, Callie Yarncroke? What's up, Michael Bunting? Zach Aston Reese? David Kampf knows how to chip in defensively and can pot a couple goals. And don't worry, the first goal scored will be that jersey hanging right behind you. Number 44, Morgan Riley at the playoffs. Book it. Game 1. First goal.
You think so? Okay.
It's happening.
He's got to get it going.
Riley's going to get it going in the playoffs. Bam. Set it right here.
Okay.
Mock me if you will.
I believe you.
But we will move off the Maple Leafs here. We'll go 3 things off the glass here. Gretzky is thinking we should implement a shootout shot clock.
Was it because of that one goal from what's his name, Washington Capitals, the Kuznetsov? Yeah, I had no problem with that. I actually thought it was kind of entertaining. I mean, I guess it would be more annoying if he wasn't scoring, but he puts the puck in the back of the net. So fuck it, leave it. What's wrong with it?
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have forward momentum and there's no problem with you doing what you're doing, it's well within the rules, man. But I'm with some. Just get rid of the shootout, expand overtime, and away we go. Yep, as long as the puck is moving, right? I mean, that's the thing. But I mean, Gretzky is such a purist in his own way.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I get where he's trying to come from. The other thing here is Carson Briere was kicked out of Mercyhurst, which is great. Off the hockey team. Very, very happy for that. He's no longer a part of that squad for what he did with that wheelchair and is basically being an insensitive little prick. And you know what? The universe catches up to you. You know, best luck on your third team in a year, bud, when you get there. Hopefully they maybe keep you around. But that one for me is a tip of the cap to Mercyhurst. Yeah. And then last one, rule tweak. that's possibly coming as soon as next year. And this one is interesting. It's one I've always wondered about. Sorry, man. Sorry, everyone. I got a throat thing going on. I don't know. I keep having to cough.
Come on, James, figure it out.
But the rule tweak is possibly coming next year, allowing coaches to choose when there's a penalty shot awarded to either take the shot or take a power play. What do you think of that?
There's been so many instances where I would have rather the Leafs get a power play than them taking a penalty shot. Like, I think they had Kerfoot take 2 this year. He whipped on both. Like, we have a pretty good power play. I'd rather see. I mean, if Matthews, Marner, Nylander, Tavares are on the ice, O'Reilly, sure, take the penalty shot. That, I mean, also depends on like where they're at in the game. I mean, like, if you're trying to kill the clock in the last 2 minutes, probably take the power play. But I like that rule. I'd like to see that rule implemented next season.
I would definitely love to see that implemented. I want to see the option. I mean,
Yeah,
I like
definitely.
the fact that Sheldon Keefe did this time use David Kampf because Kampf was fired up and ready to go.
And how did that go? He missed, didn't he?
He did miss, but it is what it is. You had a guy who wanted to take it. I do think that you should be allowed to choose a penalty shot or a power play, and you want to take a 2-minute power play because you want your setup out there. I mean, that's why you pay your power play guys big money. Might as well get them out there so they can be ready to rock and roll. But Leafs Nation, we got a Wednesday or a Thursday game against the Bruins, Saturday against the Habs. Cannot wait to see what happens the rest of this week. Pete, do you got anything on your docket that you want to talk about?
I do not, James. We've covered everything.
Well, that's absolutely beautiful. Well, Leafs Nation, this right here is Offside Hockey Talk, where the Maple Leafs and hockey come to talk.